One of the things I really love about my garden is that it changes with the seasons. Something I planted a while ago will suddenly come good. Here are 5 things I'm really enjoying in my garden right now. One flower that is symbolic of spring is the daffodil. Narcissus is its Latin name, but we tend to call the ones with big trumpets daffodils. Glorious flowers. They'll bloom in borders, in pots, and even when naturalised, as we call it, in grass. The key is to plant them as early as you can in autumn, round about September, because they start rooting very early. Get them a good 6 inches down so they've got plenty of sustenance, plenty of moisture, and plant them in groups of 10 or 12 in clumps. And that way, come the spring, when you've forgotten where you put them, up they'll come and do really well. One of my favourite varieties is growing in a greenhouse border here. It's called Skype, S-K-Y-P-E. It has a white perianth, the back bit, and a very, very pale salmon pink trumpet. If you have a sunny wall or fence and you want to brighten it up, there are obvious choices like roses or honeysuckle, but there's one very unusual shrub that I love. It's called Actinidia. And Actinidia is bare in the winter, but when its leaves come out in spring, they're half white to start with, and then that white becomes half pink. So in a few weeks' time, this white variegated shrub is going to be a pink and white variegated shrub. It is so spectacular on this sunny wall. It's the follow-on in gardens which is most rewarding. The white of the snowdrops, followed by the yellow of the daffodils and the narcissi. But then comes the real colour in the form of tulips. Every single shade except true blue. You can have the lot. These can be planted slightly later than daffodils and narcissi. The daffs are going in September. Tulips right up to Christmas if you want, often in November, the main planting season. And wait for them to come. And when they do come, boy oh boy, make sure you look for 2 things in your tulip. Firstly, obviously the colour, but the time at which it flowers. There are early flowering tulips and late flowering tulips. They also vary in height. Some are only about 6 inches, others up to a full 2 feet. If you want them to flower over other border plants which are quite low down, go for the taller ones. I love stuffing them in pots. And I have a stone table here in my kitchen garden, on which I put these large terracotta pots, simply stuffed with tulips. It's rather like having a jewel box, lifting the lid and drooling over what's inside. If you're growing tall yews, squat or columnar box, you'll suddenly find that they act like the gnomon, the spiky bit in the middle of a sundial. And as the sun goes round, so the shadows drift across the lawn. It's the kind of thing that makes you really look at your garden, to sit up and take notice of it. And it might seem to be a weird thing to like shadows, but I do. There's one more thing in my garden which offers the most dramatic spring spectacle. Normally. This year, things are slightly different. One of my favourite plantings in the garden is this group of cherry trees. The variety is Shirotae, a Japanese cherry. I planted this small grove of half a dozen cherry trees about 20 years ago now, so you can see how well they grow with their spreading branches. And normally they are simply smothered in white blossom. We went away last weekend And when we came back, having left the trees full of buds, nearly all the buds had gone. The wood pigeons around here haven't had much in the way of food. They came, they found my cherry trees. They ate nearly all the buds of blossom. We've got blossom at the ends of the branches because a fat wood pigeon can't land on that, but it can land further up. And when it lands further up, it just takes the flower buds out of these little sheaths here. There they are, gone. Hey ho, you know what we gardeners say? You should have been here last year. They looked a treat then, absolutely covered in white blossom. To be honest, most years are okay, and if you want a cherry tree in your own garden, while they're in blossom, it's a good time to choose them. This is the kind of thing you'll find in a garden centre. Different colour blossom, some fully double, some semi-double, and different habits. This is more upright. This is a variety called Starlight. Lovely, fine-petalled flowers. It really is quite starry. The green leaves follow, so generally with cherries you get the blossom coming out followed by the leaves. Sometimes the leaves are green, sometimes they're more purplish. So Starlight is an upright grower. It's relatively light of canopy and so suitable for small gardens. For really small gardens, you might want a weeping cherry. This has that wonderful Japanese name, Kikushidare Sakura. It's a weeping cherry with fully double pink flowers. It can look a bit stunted, but if your garden's tiny or you've only got a massive great tub to put it in, that will do it nicely, and you get these lovely rosettes of flower every year, and leaves that come out, in this case, slightly bronzed. When you're planting them, take out a decent sized hole, enrich it with soil improver and tease the roots out of this root ball so they're not tangled up. Get your garden fork in there and really have at them to encourage them to leave that massive root ball where they might otherwise just sit. Don't let them dry out in their first season, and plant them where they've got room to grow. And if it's something like this that's going in a pot, the same kind of rules apply. Tease those roots out, give it a container of something like John Innes No. 3 compost that's peat free. That way there's lots of sustenance down there to support a tree rather than just a pot full of flowers. So look at the range of cherries that you can find in your local garden centre. Find one whose ultimate height will suit your garden, whose colour pleases you, and which has a habit that you find attractive. I'll be posting new videos each week, so subscribe to the channel below and let's get gardening together.